Skyrim. At the start of the year, I only knew this through memes, and now I have sat down and finished the game. But what is finishing? I'm sorry. After 69 hours, over 200 saves, and about 7 months of streams, I decided to end my first playthrough of Skyrim. But this game's 12 years old. Is it still worth it in 2023? Here's my pretty late review. Let's jump right into it, shall we? I want to talk about the open world, and this is the whole reason you want to get into Skyrim. After the opening act, you're free to do whatever you want. To be honest, it feels a little weird. Some other games block certain areas of the world, like maybe you don't have the ability to traverse around, or it's closed off story-wise. Skyrim has none of that. It just lets you do anything. I wandered into the Alduin boss at level 14 with a steel sword and leather armor. I think my first few hours of the game was probably the most fun. The game asked me to go to Whiterun and I was crouching the whole way there, but I saw the world happen. I feel like in most modern open world games now, people don't really have lives. Like they're just machines, they just sit there waiting to be interacted with. Skyrim NPCs actually do things. They have set schedules and they have different reactions depending on what time you talk to them, what affiliation, heck, even what race you are determines how people react to you. The world felt alive. It felt real. Yeah, apart from the dragons. People had their own lives. They cared about that. That's not to say the world is perfect, however. Because of how open and alive the world feels, it can be a bit less intuitive for the player. A few times through my run, there was a quest where you had to be someplace at a certain time. Now, in most other games, you'd get to the location, and you'll be given the option to skip time, and the person would automatically appear. Due to how Skyrim works and how it manages the systems, it has to take the person and simulate them walking there. And I've had a few times where that just didn't work. It meant I couldn't progress quests, which sucks. Also, because of the freedom it has, you can easily lose hours of progress just because you walked into somewhere you really shouldn't. I did mention earlier I walked into Alduin early and it was funny, but I did have to sacrifice an hour and a half of my saves because I didn't realise the thing would be way too tough for me. I didn't find it annoying, but I felt like if it happened multiple times, it would have been an issue. It would have been cool if some NPCs said to you, oh, you don't look tough, oh, you need better armor. That would help build the immersion, but at the same time giving the player a little bit of a guidance to say, hey, maybe this is too tough for you right now, come back later. And just a couple things more on world design. Why is there no signs anywhere? Seriously, in a town, it feels impossible to find a shop or an inn. And also there's so many mountains. It made traversal seem a bit like a chore in a way. Whenever I had to walk somewhere, I kind of huffed and sighed a bit, because climbing mountains isn't too fun. But the open world isn't just what Skyrim is about. And Skyrim's story is, it's hard to describe the story because there isn't really one. But they are split into quests, and every quest feels like its own story. You have the guilds, you have the Dragonborn, you have a war, you have the Daedric ones, and then you have generally everything else. The guild quest is interesting. You generally start as an initiate, doing some odd jobs around the field, and some fighting here and there. And then you quickly get promoted, and you find out something's wrong with the guild. A member is having doubts. So you go sort it out, and then you realise, oh my god, the leader is a bad guy. So you end up either fighting the leader or something to do with them to take them down from their position, and you end up as a leader in the guild. The only problem is that this is the same story for every single guild. They all follow the same path, which is odd to say the least. The Dragonborn is the main quest. It's the most fleshed out, it's got the coolest interactions, and it kind of serves as a tutorial for stuff, but still I find it one of the best. The war arc is probably the least impactful. You kind of end up just going to someone and talking to them, and they'll give you a command. They'll go like, oh, go to this city, and you go to the city, kill about 50 enemies, report back to, okay, go to this army. It felt a little lame, and it felt like it didn't have a big impact on the world, apart from some odd people saying, oh yeah, this happened. The Daedric stuff is probably my favourite though. They're psychedelic adventures, they're magical, they're fantasy, you end up being transported into other worlds, and they all felt quite unique. I loved learning the lore of them, I loved learning the stories, I loved learning about the cults behind them. The Daedric quests are definitely my favourite, especially this dude. This one was a ride, and everything else is just every other quest. Stuff like someone randomly stopping you and telling you about a rumour, or maybe going fishing, or hunting someone down, or going in a cave. Dear God, there's a lot of caves. By the way, if you're enjoying the review so far, a subscribe will help a lot, so thank you. Okay, UI real quick. I understand that this game was built for consoles. However, oh my god, the menus in this game are infuriating. They're horrible. So many times. I, for some reason, clicked off. I clicked the wrong thing. The menu would just disappear for some reason. It was very fiddly. I don't get how someone can actually navigate the skill tree. I mean, sure, I get it. They're constellations. They look cool. But how am I supposed to get over there? What input do I do? Oh, not that one. I've shot off to the other thing now. Whoops. It's just so weird and so oddly designed, and the game felt really clunky. There's other bits that annoyed me as well. Searching for a key item for a quest sometimes was a real pain. It would have been cool if they were specially marked, or if you were trying to look for something related to a quest, it would appear at the top. Anyway, rant over. And now for the thing Skyrim's most known for, the glitches. And to be honest, while we did find many, they weren't bad. You see, some of them actually ended up being pretty funny. We've had a few times where dragons interrupted a quest. Or maybe someone leaves a little too early. I hope you don't mind.
So, you have made your way here to me.
But I did have one that was a bit game breaking. You see, I really wanted to do this Daedric quest, but this guy just wouldn't move. I tried forcing him into location, I tried reloading, it just wasn't having it. It's a real shame this had to happen on my final stream. Otherwise, the game is glitchy in a perfect way. So in conclusion, is Skyrim worth picking up in 2023? Definitely. It does, however, show its age in some places, but if you can look over these small issues and the odd glitch here and there, you'll have fun. Just go into the world with an open mind that you're gonna experience a new story, not a new game, a new story. It's your own story in this fantasy world where you're not the main character. Thank you for watching.